Joining us now is Senator Bill Cassidy, Republican from the state of Louisiana. Mr. Senator, you just got back from Israel. I know you met with Prime Minister Netanyahu. In your opinion, will Congress approve the more than $100 billion request for Israel and Ukraine?
I think they will, because there's also money in there for border funding and Taiwan. And so there's some people that don't want one of those four, but most folks want at least three of those four. And right now, the need to support the Israelis as they are doing battle with Hamas and maybe Hezbollah and maybe Shia militia coming from Syria is seen as incredibly important. I do think Congress will end up passing it.
Israel seems to be delaying the ground invasion of Gaza. Did you approve of that?
Well, of course, I'm going to leave it up to the people in charge, but there's a couple of things. One, they still have the hostages out there. Two, they have to prepare for at least a two-front war, so they may be making sure that they are okay if Hezbollah decides to intervene in the north of Israel. And three, when we spoke on our trip to the military and political leaders, they recognize there's a system of tunnels beneath Gaza City that gives the advantage to Hamas, and that they want to make sure, as much as possible, that they've reduced the ability of Hamas to use that system of tunnels and other things as a defensive advantage. Now, frankly, it looks like they're trying to blow up everything that may have a connection to the tunnels, but I think that's part of a strategy.
Now, President Biden says, yes, destroy Hamas. But are we beginning to back away from that, not that promise, but that statement?
Well, I can just tell you the Israelis, they feel as if they need to destroy Hamas as a military and as an operational leadership. As one guy said, there may be somebody walking around with an AK-47 still believing in what Hamas is espousing, but that their leadership and their operational ability is destroyed. Why? Because they actually thought that they had made overtures to Hamas that would build a constructive relationship. There's 19,000 Palestinians a day going to work in Israel, bringing paychecks back to Gaza with more freedom of movement that was going to begin to be a more open relationship. When Hamas goes in and despite that, or maybe because of it, shoots specifically the kibbutzim, in which people who are peace activists teaching their children both Arabic and Hebrew as a way to build relationships between the two societies, when Hamas specifically targets them, that sends a message to Israel that there is no coexistence between Hamas and Israel.
Let's turn to Iran, if we may. They have been attacking American forces for some time now. I believe it's a total of 93 attacks in the last couple of years. Should we continue to appease them, because I think that is the policy now, or should we be deterring them?
Yeah, I think we should absolutely deter. By the way, it's not the Iranian people. They're held captive by a small kind of group of people who are ripping off the country and forcing their will upon people who want more freedom. But if you speak about what we could do for the Iranians, what I've been told is that we've turned a blind eye to the oil sanctions.
Yep.
Now, someone in Israel said the $6 billion they're getting that's going through, and you talked about in your opening statement, is pittance compared to the money they're getting from selling their oil. Theoretically, there is a sanctions regime that's not supposed to allow them, but the Biden administration has been turning a blind eye. That's how they've truly been financing this. A good start to deterrence is to shut off their income by enforcing those oil sanctions.
Senator Bill Cassidy, Republican, Louisiana, thanks very much for joining us, sir. Always appreciate it.
Thank you.